Young-sik Lim is the name, a young man who's only been a pro for a year, but in just 4 fights, he's already captured the South Korean national title. A seasoned opponent from the Philippines here in Joel Baoya, a national champion too, but in his case at bantamweight. So let's see if he can deal with a higher weight division. Round 4.
Well, this fight's been certainly going the way of Young-sik Lim. So far in the blue trunks, he's won the first 3 rounds in this contest. Promising talent, all right. South Korean super bantamweight champion already, and he's only had 4 fights. He won that title just 8 weeks ago. Filipino champion against him, Joel Baoya. But he's the Filipino champion a weight down, and that's proving a bit important so far. A bit more power and strength possibly for Lim, who's only been a pro now for a year or so. Good right hand from him. They say he had a good amateur career as well, just that nobody can find any real record of it, certainly among the European statisticians. Certainly wasn't at the Sydney Olympics or anything like that.
Yeah, but I think he's retained a lot of his amateur style. His chin's a little bit high, but having said that, he's dealing with the southpaw stance very well. He's picking nice little left hooks. He's taking the jab away, and some good straight little right hands as well, so he's coping with this well.
He does look a bit open though, I must say, Lim. Just a time out here. My Baoya. Has he lost his gum shield, Jim? What is it? Yeah. Or is there a cut? Yeah, they're having a look at that. Didn't look anything too serious, but maybe they're playing it on the safe side. His blood's beginning to flow there by the side of the eye. No, that's a worse gash than I thought. Blood's not flowing into the eye though. Looks as if it's on the side of the forehead, doesn't it, the cut?
Yeah, but it's different with the sweat and all the rest of it. It's difficult to get a decent look. It's back to us at the moment with the line and the monitors here, but it's difficult to get a look at it.
It's interesting, they just do things a little bit differently from one country to another. I would think if that had happened in Britain, the fight would just go on and the corner would deal with that at the end of the round, wouldn't they?
Yeah, we usually like to see a corner getting a chance to deal with an injury before you start instilling panic in the boxers.
Blue trunks, remember, of Young-sik Lim. Body punch from Baoya, who's coming off a damaging defeat last time out when he tried to win the WBC International Bantamweight title in Johannesburg and was floored 3 times and beaten in a round by Vusi Malinga. So his confidence might be a little bit low after that. He's certainly starting underdog here against this Lim, who they've got some hopes of. Gets him with a good left hook here. Looks too open to me though. Lim, gloves are low, aren't they? Chin in the air a bit.
Yeah, well, as I said, it's his amateur style. He's still quite a bit of that to shed. He's nicking in, he's nicking out, he's getting his punches on, then getting back out of there. Probably a little bit of maturing to do a little bit more strength in his work, but he's developed a nice technique. But sometimes decent amateurs have a tougher job because they have to get rid of so much of what they've learned.
He's out of range a lot of the time, the southpaw Baoya, wasting a lot of shots. Quicker as well, you can see Lim. Good attack from him. In theory, Baoya should be the one with the advantage in speed as the bantamweight. Doesn't look that way. In fact, there looks a difference in levels. There's blood around the mouth now of Lim.
Yeah, there's a kind of sharp, worn look about Baoya as well. He's slow, he's too slow to react. His head's not moving, he's taking the shots solid on the face. Lim not really a tremendous puncher, which is maybe just as well.
Heads banged together on the inside there. Lim just wiping away what he imagined to be some kind of cut, I think, but he continues to dominate the fight. I think he's won all 4 rounds.
Yep.
Sik Lim against Joel Baoya on the undercard here, and the blue trunks of Lim very much to the fore.
Baoya hardly landed a worthwhile punch so far. He's been picked off at will. He's all over the place. His balance is poor. As I've already said, a kind of shop-worn look about him.
It's always interesting to get in on the ground floor of the careers of fighters coming through, of whom Hyung-Sik Lim may be one, but they'll need to tighten up a good deal, I would suggest. Some fighters, you look at them from a very early stage and you can see they've got something special. That does not strike me as the case with Lim.
No, but he has to develop a good professional style. He needs the chin down. He needs to be able to shuffle in with some punches to get some purchase on him, as opposed to nipping in and nipping back out again.
Right hand again lands, and Bowyer just can't get into this at all. He's wading away and he's stirring up the air inside the arena, all right, but he's not making contact with very much at all. He looks sort of kind of slow and laboured, almost a bit disinterested at times in the proceedings, Joel Bowyer.
As though he's had too many hard nights behind him, I think, and he's not able to try anything different. He's been picked off. What he's been trying hasn't been working. But he's not able to come up with anything different. But Lim's boxing well, no reason why he should be changing tactics in this particular fight. But a fair bit of work to be done in the gymnasium, I would say.
And I'm sure they'll be doing that work with him as well.
It's also nice to see the 10 round distance in the fifth fight, so at least that confidence in it.
Well, he was fighting a 10-rounder when he won the championship. They believe in pitching them in early here if they think they're good enough. Slightly different mentality than the long education British fighters. Now the hooks here are having an effect. Getting home with those, Lim. He's been totally dominant in this fight. Now the left hook goes thudding home, and if Bowyer's the Filipino champion at bantamweight, I can only suggest that that division is not too well stocked at the moment in the Philippines. Because frankly, he looks poor here, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I think with so many titles in the game these days, the national champion is not always the best at the weight, so I wonder if that's the case in the Philippines at the moment. But certainly what we've seen so far doesn't look championship calibre.
Yes, he's definitely not Manny Pacquiao, that's for certain. I just wonder if Lim is a bit of an accident waiting to happen though, with that low slung guard of his. Maybe Bowyer's not the man to exploit it. They get in with a little hook on the inside there, but it's Lim winning everything at the moment. Like this for Joel Bowyer. We don't think he's won a round so far, as we now go into round 7 of this contest in the super bantamweight division, up against the novice pro, albeit national champion already of South Korea, Hyung-Sik Lim, in the blue trunks here. Can Bowyer do anything about this at all? Just hasn't looked up for the fight tonight. Not from the word go.
I mean, he's the one with the experience. He should be stepping across Lim and trying to cut the ring down. Lim is quite nifty on his feet, so he should be stepping across to his own right, try to back him into corners, but he just doesn't seem to have the ability to do anything.
Missing with the right hand there, Lim. Bowyer, by the way, had a defence of the national championship in the Philippines, where one judge gave him the winner by 8 points and the other 2 had it level. Can you believe that one?
Why doesn't that surprise us these days?
Yeah. Mad, mad world.
Well, a bit more aggression from Bowyer now, so a little bit better, but still being picked off and not really getting home cleanly with anything.
Just doing a bit more in this round, he needed to. Lim not as accurate, wasting a few. Starting to hit gloves and air a little. Is he tiring a little, the younger man Lim?
Well, he's not been under any pressure. He's been allowed to work at his own pace all the way through, so no reason why he should be tiring. A couple of times Lim has been falling in after his punches, so maybe he is beginning to feel the pace a little bit.
Looks like it, doesn't it? Not that impressive or clean or snappy with his shots in this round. 40 seconds left of the 7th in the city, of course, which saw one of the greatest boxing scandals ever when Roy Jones was somehow not given the gold medal after a brilliant performance in an Olympic final in this city against a Korean, would you believe? They nearly got boxing thrown out of the Olympics on the back of that. And after all of that, Roy Jones was named as the greatest boxer in the tournament. Make sense of that, if you will.
Well, good left hook there from Lim, that's better. Stepped in with that one.
Good right there from Bowyer. One of his best punches of the fight, but Lim's still in control, really. I'm sure among interested viewers of this fight might be Britain's European champion, Isham Pickering. Much improved fighter is Isham. But I think it'd be too good for either of these, frankly, wouldn't you, at this stage?
Yep, I don't think either of these two are ready for him. It's just fallen into a little bit of a pattern now. One round's a little bit too much like the previous. A little bit of drama would be nice, wouldn't it?
Lim in a big lead. He's the one in the blue trunks, remember, left of your picture. Bowyer's tried to get into it here and there. He's had the odd success like that, but no sustained success. It's a cracking left hook from Lim on the inside. There was a real snap about that one. He took it well, though, did Bowyer. Remember, he was stopped in a round in his last fight in South Africa.
I think Lim is just in his toes too often at times, when maybe he should settle down a bit more flat-footed and get some more power into the shot. It's a long way to go, a lot of pro tricks still to be learned, but he's picked up the pace again. Signs he was becoming tired a couple of rounds ago, but this is better. New lease of life.
Yeah, good combination punching there from Hyung Sik Lim, fighting in front of his own fans here in South Korea. He won't have too many yet. He's still in the building stages of his career. 5th pro fight, remember, for Lim. But that was a good burst from him. He's well in control of this one, unless he messes it up late on. No doubt about it, I think that Bowyer from the Philippines needs a knockout.
Yep, I don't think Bowyer's won a round so far.
And this is his 22nd fight. He's won 15 so far. Good right hand from Lim. Walking onto punches a little bit too. Bowyer now, he looks tired. He's flailed away. The cut's a bit worse. The blood running by the side of the right hand. There's some blood too around the face now of Lim. Looks like the cheek. It's got a little gash there.
See, I think now they're tiring again a little bit. It's becoming untidy. Heads are coming together. So Lim probably wants to just see this one out. No signs that he's going to stop Bowyer, so he should just maybe stand off a little bit more instead of getting involved.
There's a jab, a punch he hasn't used that often in this fight, Lim. A leaping left jab. And then gets out of the way again. But it's not a fight that's really got anybody out of their seats in this arena so far. There's bandage loose now on the right glove of Bowyer as well. They build this one as a good cracking undercard fight between a South Korean champion and a Filipino champion, but it hasn't ever quite caught fire. Crowd happy enough because Lim's winning it. Looks like he's going to give them a home win, barring anything dramatic late. And here comes another track from that album they keep playing between the rounds. So I hope that's not an idea that transfers itself to Britain.
See, still a Bowyer. Well, he got through with that one, but too often he's not really getting himself into punching positions. Although the pace has slowed down a bit, you would think maybe Bowyer would be a bit more successful, but I think he's tiring as well, and that was a good little burst from Lim. But again, there's not really a professional look about his work. still he's retained too much of his amateur style. He has a long way to go to make an impression in the pro game, I would say.
What you're saying is he's not one to keep our eye on. Is that what you're trying to say, Jim?
Well, long way to go, I'll say. You know me, Ian, kind to everybody.
Yes, of course. It's the last round of this one. And that gets the biggest cheer of the night. Blue trunks, remember, of Lim. Now, Bowyer might go for it a bit here in this last round because he does need a knockout. He must know that. Good left hooks from Lim.
You thought they would have fixed the tape at the end of the 9th round because I think the referee's going to have to stop the action. They haven't tightened up the tape in Bowyer's glove.
Lim's had it much his own way. He hasn't, to be truthful, been asked very many questions here by this disappointing Filipino who's already got 4 defeats on his 21 fight ledger, a couple of draws as well, so maybe whatever he was going to be as a pro fighter he's already become, which is Filipino bantamweight champion. More accuracy, better work rate, faster hands from Lim despite his somewhat novice-y style.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't be too unkind. It's only his 5th fight. He's won every round. So what more do you want? But I don't see star quality in his work. So I wonder, even when they do all the hard work in the gym and he adapts to the pro game, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to become a star. I don't think so.
But he's doing the job here all right. Halfway through the last round of this, the 10th and final round. Of course, fighters in their 5th pro fight in Britain certainly wouldn't be fighting this kind of distance. And it's questionable whether you should be fighting these long fights quite so early in your career. People will argue about that one. What do you think, Jim?
Well, if I remember, I think Charlie Nash had a 10-rounder in his first pro fight, if I remember. I think he boxed for the Irish title, and at the time, that raised a few eyebrows, but he coped with it well. So, do we mollycoddler fighters too much? I certainly don't like the 4-round distance.
Pete Ravender, wasn't it, who fought for the world heavyweight title in his first pro fight against Floyd Patterson back in 1956, I think it was, off the top of my head.
But I think the heavyweight division is a totally different sport to boxing.
Last 15 seconds coming up of this fight. Lim's got it in the bag, really, and he has had from a long way out. Bowyen's never looked as if he's got anything to beat him with here. It's been a massive disappointment here tonight. Lim did all the work that mattered there and has surely got that by a long, long way and will remain unbeaten after 5 fights, but only 1 inside schedule. He doesn't look like a puncher to me either.
No, but he definitely has a long way to go to make an impact in the pro game. Didn't do too much wrong tonight at this level, won it clearly, but he's too loose, he's in and out, his chin's too high. Really long way to go to becoming a solid pro.
Well, they're going to make the announcement of the decision here in Japanese. But we can tell you, because we've been handed a little slip of paper here, that the winner is Hyung-Sik Lim, and he's won it by a landslide. Big win for him. As you're hearing the judges read out the scores, we can confirm that he's won it by a big, big way. Just about every round for Hyung-Sik Lim, but not very convincing, to be perfectly honest with you, even though it's the early stages of his career, Jim.
Well, convincing tonight, a convincing victory, but for the future, I'll be surprised if he becomes a big star. But everybody deserves their chance, and we have to see again, for your 5th fight boxing, your 2nd 10-rounder, he's doing not too badly.
He's a points winner tonight over Joel Bowyer of the Philippines.